Before we begin today's video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click on the bell, and change it to all settings. Hey guys, it's Sean here with the Family Outdoors. Today we're going to be showing you how you can process your chaga. So basically what I do when I start with a great big chunk like this, and you can see this is a sizable chunk of chaga here. It was a good haul. This was one of about 3 pieces this size. But I'll just take my schmog, set it on top like so, then I just wrap it up. Once we have it contained inside the schmog, I just move it over to a block here. And I use my hatchet or my axe, and just on the back of it, and I just start to just hit it and break it up. Chaga is very hard, so this process can take a bit of time. Once we get it to the point that we can start to have it broke up, I'll usually just stop like this and pull out some pieces and get it down to a smaller package that's easier to work with. So I'll pull these 4 chunks out right now. That'll help me break this stuff up a lot better. Again, you don't have to absolutely pulverize it, you just gotta slowly keep mashing away on it. So this is what it looks like from that big lump. This isn't that whole entire big block, but it's a portion of it. And all we want it to do is get it down into these smaller pieces that are manageable. So we just take those out now. We'll put them on our pile over here. So now that we're done breaking down the big chunk into these smaller pieces, there could be chunks that are still a little bit too big, and we can process them down farther with a knife. I'm using the Schrade 57, just my little neck knife, to continue to break them down. Just going to move some of this out of the way because my cutting board's all covered here. And basically I just put it on, just give it a little bump. That's it, that's all there is to it. Sometimes chunks and pieces go flying, there's big cleanup after you're done. And while you're finishing breaking down the pieces you think are a little bit too big still, it's time to remove this kind of impurity. So this is where some of the bark was, and we can just cut that out of there. It's not a huge necessity to get rid of every bit of it, but you know, it does make a cleaner product when you're done if you get rid of as much of it as possible. So again, I just use my little knife, make sure my fingers are well out of the way, and I just basically scrape it off like that. And again, you don't have to be super picky with it. That's good enough. Set that one on there, get these little bits and pieces out of the way. And repeat till you have all these chunks just dealt with. So after we've cleaned out a lot of the impurities and stuff, I'm sure we'll find more as we dig through the big pile here, but there are two different methods you can use to do this. One of them is just mortar and pestle. You just put your stuff in there and grind over and over and over. This is a very slow method, but if you don't have any other means, it will work, and you just keep grinding it, and it just makes it finer and finer and finer. So that's one way you can do it if you do not have this other means, which is just basically a little coffee maker. You put your beans in there and it grinds them up, so a coffee grinder works really well. So I'll give you guys, you just dump your stuff in there. You don't want to fill them too full for these little ones because they're very, you know, it does actually make quite a bit. So you can see there's not very much in there. Put your lid on. So after you grind it, you have a nice real powdery looking bit like that. Here's a bag. This is this bag, and these two containers are what we've already processed off of this one Chaga yield. You can just see how fluffy this is. It's just powder, right? We got it ground right down to powder. Now we'll repeat this process a bunch more times. And that's all there is to it. We just do this now 50,000 times and we'll be done. So this is it. This is what we got for our Chaga yield. Great big Ziploc bag full of it, and then two of these containers. And again, that was from one piece of Chaga that we found on a tree that was about the size of my head. A couple things I want to point out about this video. If you choose to use the little electric coffee grinder there, you're going to have to make sure you take breaks in between using it as it gets really warm. And if you're not careful, you can burn out the little motor in there pretty quick. So if you want that kind of stuff to last, take your time with it. To process this complete piece like this took me actually 2 days in between having to rest the motor on that little grinder, but I mean, you know, it's not too bad. You got other things to do. You just stop, you know, periodically and work on other things while you wait for it to cool down. But I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll have more coming along to you guys in terms of what to do with it now that you got a process to this point. Whether you choose to just have it in teas, which a lot of people do, or make tinctures or other fancy deals, we'll have videos on that stuff coming up. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep outdoors.